Welcome to the program. This is a continuation of the discussion we had last week on investing in the Democratic Republic of Congo. In today's show, we will give you details on what it takes to acquire a business and a work permit. Plus, in this show,
ground infrastructure, like the roads and railway, is a great sensation when you talk about this standard gauge railway. DRC are waiting for that railway like it should have come yesterday.
Congo, in that sense, is very rich when it's come to mining, all over the place. You can't isolate one area and say that in this part you can't find anything.
We can export human resources, and whatever we get can be reinvested back at home and creating jobs back at home.
That and more on the program. And our first stop is at the offices of the National Agency for Investment Promotion, where we sought to find out what it takes to acquire a business permit as a foreigner.
One of the biggest reforms that we have done in this country is creating a one-stop shop when it's come to the creation, to start a company, the creation of a company. It used to take 65 days to do that. Now you can do it in 3 days. You fill a form, you complete the form, there's some information that you need to have on that form that you need to provide. For example, who is going to manage the company. It's important information. You need to give the article of association for your company. You don't need to go to a lawyer to do that. Really, it's very simple. And then when you have completed that and you have given your article of association, they will ask you to pay. If you are an individual and you don't want to have a company, it will be only $40. If you're a company, it will be $120. For what we call Société Anonyme, which is a shareholding company, it will be a little bit more expensive.
Now, you may be asking yourself, what would a Kenyan be doing in DRC, miles and miles away from home? Kenya's ambassador, Dr. George Masafu, explains the composition of Kenya's diaspora in the country.
Kenyans who come here either come on employment, sometimes short-term employment. So they come, after 1 year, they go back. There are others who just come for prospecting. They come and go back. In Kinshasa, most Kenyans here are formally employed by organizations. You cannot go to the street and find somebody with an M-Pesa thing selling there the way we do in Kenya.
You see, as I show it.
But when you go to Lubumbashi, you have a lot of entrepreneurs there. And one of the entrepreneurs of interest is a lady who repairs radiators for trucks. Lubumbashi receives most of its fuel from Dar es Salaam. And we have thousands of trucks coming to Lubumbashi. And radiator problems are many. And surprisingly, this Kenyan lady is the only one with the knowledge of how to repair the radiators. And she employs so many people. So she's called Mama Radiator.
You have to come and find out what you want to do. Do the research. That's what I did. I came, looked at the business, and I went to look at the competition. Very important. Look at what your competitor is doing. What can you improve from it? So I went and checked on my competitors in a place called Mukenya. There's a place called Mukenya here in Lubumbashi. And I realized it's not a big challenge. I can try it. So first of all, you need to come and do a research. Once you find there's an opportunity for you, you need to talk to somebody like myself who have been here, what is required. There are a lot of documentation involved.
Lubumbashi city, that is situated in the southeastern part of the country, hosts quite a number of Kenyans. During my trip to the city, I met them at an evening get-together.
Majority of the Kenyans around are actually business people who've started their own ventures. They're mostly venture in logistics, travel agencies. Also, we do have majority are in petroleum businesses, whereby most of those petroleum companies are actually Kenyan owned. We can export human resources, and whatever we get can be reinvested back at home and creating jobs back at home.
The systems there are not working straight, and a lot of places you need guidance on how business should be conducted. Those are the challenges that the Kenyans face. They don't know where to get the proper documentations. They don't know which officers to contact in case of any challenges that they get with any government officers. The embassy is in Kinshasa, and they come here maybe twice or 3 times in a year. So the main challenge is the Kenyans getting to enter the market in Katanga province. What the association has been doing is, through other members who are doing the same business, we encourage or advise people who are coming into the market on what they require for them to successfully set up business here in Katanga.
The Kenyans living in DRC want immigration policies to be streamlined in order to enhance free movement of goods and services between the two countries. The Kenyan ambassador says, in principle, there should be no stringent visa restrictions between the two countries.
In fact, even now, when a Kenyan arrives and is held at the airport, and I call, they give him the visa, because they know that that's in principle what it should be. But operationally, the civil servants have their own way of doing things. Yeah, they insist that you should have gotten it from Nairobi. But we know that at our level, a Kenyan should be able to get a visa on arrival in DRC.
If immigration issues were ironed out, the trickle-down effect would be felt even in the transport and tourism sectors, says Kenya Airways country manager James Nganga.
One thing that has been challenging is the transit visa issues, where some certain nationalities cannot get visas easily. Yeah, like for example, Cameroonians, Gambians. So when they come, they connect Nairobi, and they have to spend a night or have a long layover. Our guests need to be allowed to go to town, even if it is for a small fee, for that matter.
Practically, a Congolese arriving in Nairobi obtains his visa at the immigration desk. It's on demand. He arrives and says, I'm Congolese. He presents his passport. He's given the visa there. He pays $50.
Kenya Airways has daily flights on 2 routes, Nairobi-Kinshasa via Brazzaville, Congo, and Nairobi-Lubumbashi via Ndola in Zambia. The Nairobi-Kinshasa flight is about 3 hours, while the Nairobi-Lubumbashi one is about 4 hours, including stopovers. When you are in Lubumbashi, the time difference with Nairobi is 1 hour. But if you are in Kinshasa, the time difference is 2 hours. When it comes to mining, an industry DRC is known for, the Kenyan ambassador says Kenyans should know it is not just any other business, as it requires heavy investment. Mining
is a mega industry involving billions of dollars, and multinational companies are the ones who operate there. The rest of the people do informal, what we call panning, going to look for dust, separating the dust from a few pieces of jewels, like diamonds and gold, and trying to sell them. This informal business is not viable at all. We are trying to negotiate for proper trading terms between DRC and Kenya, so the Kenyans come and invest in formal businesses where you have a license, you operate legally, you operate your bank account, you're able to pay your taxes, and you're able to remit money back home.
You can find diamond in the central part of Congo, into Kasai. So Congo is very rich when it comes to natural resources. Of course, Lubumbashi is known specifically because of cobalt and copper. It's a town which is really booming, but as I was saying to you earlier, they have challenges, especially when it comes to energy, electricity, because the costs can be high if you don't have proper electricity.
Generally, Kenyans are hesitant to invest in DRC for fear of insecurity, coupled with the perception that there are no proper regulations in place to guarantee fair trade. Is that the case?
If a Chinese can come 11,000 kilometers away to come and settle here, he doesn't know the language here, he doesn't know the culture here, but he knows business is global. Once you put a good material out here, a DRC lady will see it and buy it without having to know the language, whether it's Chinese or not. So Kenyans have been afraid of, one, the language, because here is French, and Kenyans are not good at learning other languages. So they don't come because they think it's too far away, it's different culture.
Equity Group Holdings is one of the Kenyan companies that have taken the lead to demonstrate that DRC is a growing market and the place to be.
Mimi niko mfanyabiashara, naweka kwa pesa yangu kwa Progredi Equity. Natumika biashara yangu ya mbalimbali kidogo kidogo, kwa pesa yangu yote natumikisha kwa bank Progredi Equity.
The company that I actually represent is called African Business Traveler, which is basically sourcing market for produce from exports from the South African region. We have a working arrangement with the Equity Bank and Kenya Association of Manufacturers, basically to try and show the manufacturers the kind of opportunities that are existing in this market. So far, we have actually worked in partnership with the bank to bring quite a number of clients in this region.
Still on investment opportunities, Kenya stands to gain a lot from the anticipated usage of the standard gauge railway from Mombasa, whose construction is ongoing.
Ground infrastructure, like the roads and railway, is a great sensation when you talk about this standard gauge railway. DRC are waiting for that railway like it should have come yesterday, because connecting Mombasa to Goma and then Goma to Kisangani, from Kisangani the ships can now pick the containers to bring them to Kinshasa. It is an expectation that the government of DRC are waiting for, that it will shorten the distance and the time taken to bring goods to Kinshasa. So Kenya is taking that advantage. And the SGR is one of the greatest projects Kenya has ever thought about, to try and connect and exploit the opportunities which exist in the Congo and in the surrounding areas.
We take a breather. When we return, there are regional blocks like COMESA, SADC, and the East Africa Community. Do those blocks have any implications on the economic relationship between the two countries? Also, 10 years of the presence of yet another Kenyan company has petroleum in DRC, right after the break.